At this morning's press conference, William Barber II briefly spoke about his meeting with the AMC Theater's CEO, but the bigger takeaway is that there is now a lawyer involved. And while the CEO said they do want to meet up for a second meeting, all communication will now have to go through his lawyer. Over $23,000. That's how much Homers That Help have donated to the families here at the Maynard Children's Hospital. The foundation was started by Carter Cunningham, ECU Baseball's first baseman. Dr. Jill Biden stopped right here at Pitt Community College. She visited the biotechnology lab and the automotive bay. She spoke with students that are enrolled here at Pitt Community and those that are also in high school with a dual enrollment here at Pitt Community. Pitt County Animal Services is asking for your help to give some love and snuggles to these fur babies, and you and your family may just be the gift they need this holiday season. This murder took place back in August of 2022 here in Atlantic Beach, and a year and a half later, investigators say they have identified a specific car they believe to be connected to the case. The main takeaway from this newly amended bill is that the only reason anyone would be allowed to wear a medical grade mask in public is to, quote, prevent the spread of contagious disease. It's an emotional time for everyone that has Spay Today's mission close to their heart, as the future of the clinic remains unknown. But what is known is that they have already stopped all operations for the general public. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 7 men have experienced domestic violence. That's why the Center for Families Violence Prevention Outreach Coordinator says things like the luncheon are so important because you most likely know someone who's been impacted. Lisa DeLisa is Michael Norman's sister. Norman was one of the men who had his remains identified just earlier this month. Now DeLisa tells me there are still 600 bones unaccounted for, and she believes the majority are right here at Jack's Creek.
He said, "See you all later," gave a little wave, crossed the intersection to the pool hall, and that was the last time I saw my brother.
Lisa DeLisa was only 16 when her brother, Michael Norman, went missing in 1982.
Looked and never had no trace.
Earlier this year, she finally got some answers about what happened to Norman when Washington police confirmed that a car pulled from Jack's Creek in February belonged to one of the 3 men who went missing decades ago. But now DeLisa fears her brother won't be able to rest in peace unless all of his remains are recovered.
We have been trying to get them to dredge, not only my family, but the other families as well, ever since they pulled out the car.
She drove all the way from Georgia, where she lives, to make her voice heard after she found out crews were working near the area where the car was pulled out.
I understand that they're draining it to repair the dam and the bridge. It being so close to this location, I feel that they should not really be doing that because it's desecrating a gravesite if they are not going to dredge.
Washington Police Chief Phil Rawlinson said they would likely need permits to make the dredging happen.
Some of the decisions were fast-tracked because of what we knew we had at the time, but there's some other considerations that need to go into further dredging, like the permitting and through water quality.
But DeLisa still just wants her brother and his friends to have a sound gravesite.
Sadness that they're still in this watery grave.
Only 14 bones have been recovered, according to DeLisa. For now, she's heading back home with hopes that the city or other officials will help dig up all of what's left of this decades-old mystery.
Michael and your friends, rest in peace.
From the Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium to the American Idol stage, Blake Pearl is gearing up for his next performance. A jack of all trades.
I think I sat with myself one day and I was like, I have this crazy opportunity. Why wouldn't I do it?
ECU alum Blake Pearl is putting all of his talents to the test. Pearl said up until recently, his whole life was based around first downs and touchdowns after years of playing wide receiver. In 2021, he took an opportunity to play for the Minnesota Vikings, but a game-changing injury forced him to make a split-second choice he didn't plan for, to pursue a new dream.
It was hard to make that decision, but I just felt like this crazy passion for music that had been truly placed in my heart.
Auditioning for the 22nd season of American Idol and scoring a golden ticket to Hollywood in February. Pearl says it's been a whirlwind.
In between my audition airing and now Hollywood Week, it's been crazy. A rush of fans, and it's been really, really cool and a huge blessing.
It could come down to a nail-biting elimination.
We were kind of looking left and right, like, okay, who's going home? And so I will say, definitely need to tune in, and it's definitely worth the while to sit down and watch.
With fans here in Greenville, like Mike Houston, his former ECU football coach, cheering him on from the sidelines.
I texted with him when all this stuff started, just kind of giving him a hard time. But we all knew he was very talented and knew he could, sing and all that stuff when he was here. But, he's kind of taken it to the next level.
And while Pearl is in Hollywood, he says his roots are still here in Greenville.
Let's get ready to get rowdy, because I know you get rowdy in Dowdy Ficklin, but I'm going to do some shows there hopefully in the future.
Now Pearl hopes to score votes, just as he once scored touchdowns. Out of the darkness, a suicide prevention walk.
It's hard on families, friends, and we just want to be able to spread awareness, spread some help.
Held October 6th at 3 p.m. to honor Carrie and Joseph Burke's nephew, Tristan.
In 2018, I lost my nephew to suicide. It was kind of out of the blue. And ever since then, it's been my goal to spread the message to as many people because suicide is preventable.
The walk aims to let people know help is available to those struggling, as well as those who've had mental health troubles shake their families.
I have a twin sister who, at the time, her boyfriend committed suicide in front of her. And it has affected her life and my family's life in a not so great way, our whole lives.
Starting a conversation on the topic may be hard for some, but the Burkes want to help in any way they can. Vendors and mental health resources will be available at the walk this fall.
A lot of people think if they've dealt with suicide that it's too soon. I don't know if I can go to an event like that. It'll bring back too much emotions. But when you're actually at an event like that and everybody there is dealing with some type of loss, whether they've tried themselves or they lost a family member, it's actually a really good support group.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and some feel it's important to bring attention to the topic.
I think just having that open conversation, when you ask someone, hey, how are you doing? And they say, oh, I'm fine. What does fine really mean?